Hello everyone. Welcome to Practically, and today I'll be teaching a little bit about the living world. It is one of the first chapters in for NEET Biology and for the 11th standard as well. It's very basic, but you can get a lot of questions from this topic actually. So we'll start, and first let me talk a little bit about Practically. Now, Practically is India's first experiential app, which runs for grade 6 to 12. And we have a lot of courses. There are lots of interactive simulations, immersive videos, augmented reality videos. We have live courses as well, which you can find on the app, and you can also subscribe to them. You can also like us on Facebook, and you can like us on Instagram, and you can see some of our courses on the YouTube as you're watching right now. And you can rate your experience. If you like us, you can rate your experience on Google, on your Play app from your iPhones or your Android phones. So now today what I want to cover is just the basic part. I'm just trying to make a base so that your fundamentals get clear. So today we'll just be talking a little bit about the characteristics of living, about the binomial nomenclature, about rules of nomenclature, what is taxonomy, what are some taxonomic aids. These are just very basic ones you may already know. But what is the harm in clearing up your fundamentals all over again, right? So we'll be covering some of these topics today. Now, characteristics of living. Actually, characteristics of living, there are a lot of characteristics. When it comes to living organisms, you can find a lot of characteristics. So a few of them are growth, reproduction, metabolism, cellular organization, consciousness. But please remember that these are not all of them. If you have some of them, does not mean that a particular thing is living or non-living. Like growth you can see in a non-living object also. Okay, we'll be talking about this as we move on, but not if you have one of these characteristics or if you don't have one of these characteristics, doesn't mean that you can point a thing as living or non-living. Okay, so moving on, we'll talk a little bit about growth. Now, growth means the increase in your mass or your number. You're a human being, right? So when you're growing, you were just born, you were some 3 kilos. Now you are 18. Now you are 40 kilos. Okay, means you are growing. You gained some mass, you gained some muscles, your bones became heavier, you got some fat. Okay, so this increase in mass and number means you're growing. Okay, now there is cell division. Because there is cell division, the cell division is happening. That is why the growth is there. Okay, now I was just talking about animals. Now I'll talk a little bit about plants. Plants, you can see, you put a seed. Okay, one day you find some seeds. Just yesterday I put some rose seeds inside a little bit of soil. Okay, I put some fertilizer, a little bit of soil. I put some rose seeds. I got it from the shop, and I put it and I watered it a little bit. Now I'm expecting, I've done it a lot of times. I have a garden of my own. I've done it a lot of times, and I've seen the plants grow. Okay, so plants are totipotent. If you take, suppose you cut a money plant, you take a money plant. We all know money plant. We take a money plant. You take a leaf out of it with its a little bit of branch. Put it in water. It'll start growing because it's totipotent. Humans are not totipotent. Plants are totipotent in nature. You put any part of it and it will start growing. Okay, so plants also grow. Animals also grow. Okay, there's also growth in a lot of lower living beings as well. Protista, Monera, we'll be talking about these things later. So the thing with growth is that growth is not only seen in living beings. Okay, growth is not for living beings only. Okay, it can be for non-living beings as well. Because Suppose you consider a hill or a mountain or something. Okay, every day you get some landslide or you get some more rocks over the years. Suppose over the years a mountain accumulates rocks or minerals. So it's growing, right? A mountain also grows. But does that mean that a mountain is a living being? No, right? A mountain cannot be a living being. So growth does not mean, if you're having growth, that does not mean that you are a living being. Okay, not you. Okay, you are a living being proper for sure, because you're watching our video. But things like hills, mountains, anything, any kind of living being can also have growth, soil, everything can have growth. But that does not mean that they are living. Okay. So moving on. Now the next thing is reproduction. Now reproduction are like giving birth. In a very, very layman term, reproduction is like giving birth to progeny. Okay, next one. I am a woman, I might give birth to a child. Okay, now we are humans. There, we can see it in animals also, lions, dogs, cats. All these living beings give birth to, like lion give birth to cubs, cats have kittens, dogs have puppies. Okay, so these are the higher living beings. Even in lower living beings like amoeba, bacteria, fungi, even in those you can see reproduction. Now they might not be, reproduction is of two kinds. Okay, it can be sexual or it can be asexual. Now higher living beings actually depend on sexual reproduction, but the lower ones such as fungi, fungi may have asexual or sexual, bacteria, they have asexual reproduction. Okay, so reproduction can be sexual or asexual. But again, here also there is a context, like a point here, which I would like to say. If there is a thing like reproduction also does not mean that you are living or non-living. There are organisms in our world which do not give birth, but can be considered as living beings. I'd like to talk a little bit about humans. Humans can be infertile. So when they are infertile, they cannot give birth. Okay, so they cannot give birth. That does not mean that humans are non-living, right? Humans are the living creatures. Same thing happens to mules. Okay, a cross of donkey and horses. These are also infertile in nature because they have unmatching chromosomes. So due to this unmatching chromosomes, mules cannot give birth. The other example I'd like to give is drone bees. So drone bees are the worker bees. Okay, drone bees also, they do not give birth or they do not participate in reproduction. So reproduction, I'll sum it up. Reproduction although a characteristic of living, but not particular. Okay, because there are living beings which do not reproduce. Okay, such as, I'll just write it so that you remember it. Infertile humans and mules, sorry, and then there are drone bees. Okay, so infertile human, mules and drone bees, they do not take part in reproduction. Now metabolism. Metabolism is one such characteristic in living beings which actually takes part in the, like it's one of the points which are one of the characteristics which are considered to be only for the living beings and not for the non-living beings. Now, what is metabolism? Our body is so huge. Any living body, when you consider it part by part, is so huge, especially human bodies. It is so complex. Okay, there are making up of compounds, there are breaking up of compounds. These whole reactions which gives you energy, which gives you the will to live, which helps in the endocrine system, in the digestive system. So many things are actually done with the help of this thing, the metabolism. Okay, so what happens? Metabolic conditions are actually two things. Metabolism is actually divided into catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism is the breaking of compounds. Okay. And anabolism is the synthesis of compounds. Now, let me give you little details about it. When we go further into the classes, we have different sections. That time we can actually see about these things. Now, I'll go back here. This, what is happening? Okay, this is a photosynthesis. Okay, and this is respiration. Now, these are two of the most important categories, things which happens in our body. Okay, so we'll start with anabolism. We'll start with the synthesis part. In human body itself, or we'll start with photosynthesis, you might know. In plants, we see photosynthesis. Now, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis happens when there is carbon dioxide and there is water. You give sunlight. Okay, what is formed? C6H12O6 and oxygen. Okay, what is this? Can anybody tell me? Is anybody here? Can anybody tell me? What is this? C6H12O6. Anybody has any idea? What is C6H12O6? What is happening in photosynthesis? Anybody? Jagriti, Rana. Tell me. Anybody? What is C6H12O6? Can anybody tell me? Okay, I'll tell. C6H12O6 is glucose. Okay, so now anybody has any doubts? Rana, if you have a doubt, please write it on the chat box so that I can actually answer it. Whenever I see it at that time, I'll be able to answer it. Okay, so now I'll move on. I'll see and I'll try to answer it. Okay, Rana, tell me. Okay, I'll try to answer it later. Anyway, so C6H12O6 is glucose. Now, and this is oxygen, as we all know. So this is a type of anabolism. Carbon dioxide and water with the help of sunlight forms glucose. Okay, so this is anabolism where there is a synthesis of compound. Synthesis of compound. Okay, of a compound. Okay, now the other thing is catabolism. Catabolism is breaking up. Okay, anabolism was synthesis, catabolism was breaking up. Okay, of compounds. Now, what can be catabolism? One of the best examples is starch breaking up to glucose in our stomach. Okay, suppose one day, okay, let's just go into a little bit of entertainment kind of a thing. I'll ask you some like basic questions. One day you have a burger. Okay, now burger you might have, and you have a veggie burger. Now veggie burger basically contains of the burger is basically contains a little bit of potato. The most important content in a potato is starch. Okay, now when you eat that starch, you put it in your mouth, you chew it, you forget about it. Okay, digest it, full on, done, go to sleep. What is your body doing after taking that starch? It takes it up. Okay, it breaks it, it mixes up with all the enzyme. Okay, and it breaks it, and then it breaks it into the enzymes, breaks it into glucose, which a lot of enzymes are there, peptases and everything. Okay, those enzymes break it into glucose. This breaking up of starch into glucose is a form of catabolism. And both of these things, anabolism and catabolism, make it up to metabolism. Okay, so this can only happen when it is a living creature. Metabolism happens only for living creatures. Done. Now we'll move on to the next characteristic, which is the consciousness. Consciousness is another thing which is a full-fledged thing for living beings. This is also for living beings. Okay, because this consciousness makes us move. Okay, because you're hungry, okay, you're conscious about your hungriness, you move to the kitchen. An animal, it's in its consciousness, it can can understand that it's in danger, it starts running. A deer, in its consciousness, can understand that a tiger is watching, a tiger might hunt it down, starts running. So these kind of consciousness, this picture I have given, okay, this one actually shows a touch me not plant. You have seen it everywhere. All the kids have seen it. Okay, you take it, okay, and you try to touch it, okay, and it will start covering itself up, closing itself up. That is consciousness. This will only happen when in living beings. Okay, now next is the last one is the cellular organization. But cellular organization, even non-living things, stones, rocks, etc., they also have cells, different kind of cells. That is a different thing. But cellular organization of the body is one of the characteristics of the living beings. Okay, so we start with cell. Okay, the basic unit of life, structural and functional unit of life. Okay, that is the cell, which consists of a lot of things. There are prokaryotic cells, there are eukaryotic cells, vagera vagera. We'll discuss about it later. Then with a lot of cells, cell, we'll make a tissue. Okay, adipose tissue, epithelial tissue, these are also more examples. When tissues, a lot of tissues together, okay, you make a organ. Okay, stomach, kidney, then liver, brains, everything. Those are organs made up of tissues, different kinds of tissues. I'm just talking about giving examples of humans because it is easy for you to relate, nothing else. Okay, even plants have tissues, different kind of tissues, xylem, phloem, etc., etc. There are lots of vascular tissues and everything. We'll read about it later. Okay, you might know, you might not know, but we'll read about it later. Okay, now a lot of organs together make the organ system. Okay, stomach, liver, intestine, small intestine, large intestine makes the digestive system. Okay, then kidneys and all make the excretory system. Okay, so these and all are systems. And when you have all the cells, you have all the tissues, you have all the organs, you have all the organ system, everything is there, that time you are an organism. Okay, I hope you got it. Let me see if there are any doubts. Okay, Rana, she has asked that what is meant by starch. Okay, starch is a compound. Okay, basically it is a kind of carbohydrate. Okay, they are made up of it is a biomolecule. Since you are in class 7, so it might be a bit difficult for you to understand starch right now because you are not into biomolecules as of now. There are carbohydrates, there are proteins, there are lipids. These are the main portions of biomolecules, okay, which is there in living beings. Okay, now carbohydrates, an example of carbohydrate is starch. Okay, now starchy, there are lots of starchy materials we eat starch, as in potatoes are fully starch. There are other things as well which you eat. Carbohydrates are the main compounds in food, and one starch is also there. Starch, glucose, these are all carbohydrates, and potatoes are filled with starch. Okay, I hope you understand it. Now we'll be moving. Okay, so now we know the basic of the living characteristics and everything. We'll now quickly run into the diversity of the living world. Now, the living world is huge. Okay, when we talk about the living world, it is huge. When you talk about the population, okay, population of India, 1.3 billion people. People, that's only human beings. There are also animals, there are also plants, there are also other creatures, okay. And now population of the world, around 8 billion people. Okay, just people. There are also other kinds of living beings as well. Now, humans are just one species. Okay, Homo sapiens. I'll just write it down so that you remember. Humans, just one species known as Homo sapiens. Now, in our world, there are around 1.7 to 1.8 million species. Okay, 1.7 to 1. Just think how huge it is. There are plants, and these comprise of plants, animals, bacteria, fungi, Monera, Protista, amoeba, so many things. The sum total is 1.7 to 1.8 million, but that is just the recorded figure. Okay, so now, since there are so many things, so many living organisms living around us, we need a way so that we can classify it. Okay, so that it is understand to name them, so that it is easy to understand their characteristics. Okay, so it is easy for the human beings to characterize everything. Okay, what kind of plant is that, what kind of animal is that, what kind of organism is that. So we have to characterize everything to understand the world better, nothing else, just to understand the world better. Okay, so that is why you need classification. Now, when you have classified, how to name them. Different, okay, we are human beings. Now, in different language, it is known as in different things. We all know in the English word, but for me, I am a Bengali person. For me, it is different. Somebody is Telugu, for them, it will be different. Okay, so that is not a standard. So everybody thought of putting it in a standard English form. So humans are Homo sapiens. Okay, snakes, Naja Naja, mango, Mangifera indica. Okay, so this is when nomenclature comes, just to name it. Okay, just to name the organisms. Okay, now name the organisms, you need nomenclature. Now, when after nomenclature, they divided it into two parts. There is ICBN, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, which is for plants, and ICZN or ICZN, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, for animals. Okay, and then they were giving scientific names so that it is easy to remember. Homo sapiens is Homo sapiens only. That is a scientific name for humans. Okay, Mangifera indica is mango. That is for mango. Okay, everywhere in the world, mango will be named as Mangifera indica. It can be named in different thing in different languages, but its scientific name will be one, Mangifera indica. Okay, I hope you understand it. Okay, so now first we'll see for nomenclature. What is nomenclature? Now, nomenclature is just the name. Nomenclature basically means naming. Okay, now I'll tell you a little bit of a story. Okay, now a long time back, during 384 BC. Okay, some 3,000 years, 3,000, 4,000 years back, 384 BC. At that time, there was a man called Aristotle. Okay, he was Greek philosopher. Now, this Greek philosopher, actually, he saw that there are plants and there are animals. Some are animals, some are giving birth. Okay, some are giving birth with the help of eggs. Some are not. There are plants which gives off seeds. Now, human beings, they reproduce differently. They don't use eggs and everything. So he saw that there are two things in the world. There are plants and there are animals. See, what I'm talking about is around 3,000 to 4,000 years back. Okay, so you cannot judge them. They did not have the tools. They did not have the knowledge. They had nothing. In spite of that, Aristotle actually said that there are plants in the world and there are animals. He started noticing things and writing things. Now, his disciple, a guy called Theophrastus. Okay, Theophrastus, his disciple, he said that the plants can be divided. Sometimes they are small, such as herbs. Okay, sometimes they are middle, which are shrubs. Okay, and then there are big trees. Okay, so this was given in the 300 to 200 BC. This is some 3,000 to 4,000 years back. They did not have anything. At that time, they gave this kind of knowledge. Now you come back into this era. Okay, the 18th and the 19th century. Now in 18th and the 19th century, this was this guy. Okay, this picture is of a person named Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, he said that he used that knowledge from Aristotle, Carolus Linnaeus. He is the one who invented taxonomy. Okay, so what he said, the same knowledge, plants and animals, the same knowledge. There is a section of plants and there is a section of animals. Okay, he wrote this in his book, Systema Naturae. Okay, so he was the one who actually started the scientific, because it was in the 18th century. At that time, he started this work, taxonomy. After him, people started saying no, plants and animals, apart from that, there are the smaller ones. Years after years after year, 18th century to 19th century, 18th to 19th to 20th, 21st. Okay, everything people started giving 3. He started with 2, then people said 3, then 4, and then 5. Now, there are actually 5 or 6 kingdoms given by R.H. Whitaker. Okay, now we'll know about what these 5 or 6 divisions are. They are basically 5, but then again people started discussing more and they put the 5th one into a different section. But right now we'll be concentrating on the 5 portion. Okay. Now we now know about what is nomenclature. Now what are the rules of nomenclature? The first rule of nomenclature is that it is written in Latin and it can be written in italics. When you type it, you have to put it in italics, as in it will be a little bit bended like this. Okay. And when you write it, you have to put a dash below them. Suppose I'm writing Homo sapiens. Okay. So I have to put a dash below them, because I'm not typing it, I'm writing it. So I have to put a dash below them. Now, first word represents genus. This is genus. And second word is species. Okay, so Homo is genus and sapiens is species. Okay. Now, we have underlined it also. And the first word, always the first word will be, first of the genus will be in capital, and the second one will be in small. We cannot write big S. Here it will be small. Okay, suppose I'm writing Homo erectus. Okay, see, big H, small e. This is our ancestor. Okay, so Homo erectus. This is how you write a scientific name. Okay, this is just for scientific name, nothing else. Now, taxonomy. As I said, Carolus Linnaeus. He talked about taxonomy. What? Just the naming thing. Dividing taxonomy is just dividing. Okay, everything, dividing the living beings into different sections, classifying it. Okay, that is what the process of classification based on characteristics of living organisms. Okay, classifying it. We cannot be in the same species as a tiger, right? Tiger has different characters. Now, we are a little bit same like monkeys or apes, but then our species is a bit different. They have a different genus, they have a different species. Okay, so to put that in different genres so that it does not become very confusing, that time comes taxonomy. Okay, let me just quickly see if there are any doubts. Okay, nomenclatures are more old than early humans. Okay, now please try and understand. Nomenclatures are basically names. Okay, names we are giving them, the scientific name. Okay, nomenclatures are not things or ideas or anything. Nomenclatures are just names. As I said, see, nomenclature is just naming. We are just naming it. Okay, we were named Homo sapiens just a few years back. Okay, our ancestors were named Homo erectus. Nomenclature is nothing. Just put it in your brain. Nomenclatures are just names. Okay, I hope you understood. So, now taxonomy, as I was talking about taxonomy is basically the classification of living beings. Okay, so there are internal structure according to all these characters, the structure, the function, the characteristics, everything accordingly you classify it. Okay, now there are other terms such as systematics, which deals with the classification. The classification part is dealt in the systematics, and the taxonomic hierarchy, putting, okay, which kingdom, which genus, which family, which class, everything is dealt with the taxonomic hierarchy. This hierarchy means the steps, okay, different steps you take for hierarchy. Okay, first comes kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, then genus, then species, like that. These things are the make the hierarchy. Okay, so this is the main thing which I wanted to discuss today, the taxonomic categories. As I said, there is kingdom, there is phylum, there is class, there is order, there is family, there is genus, there is species. Okay, so you can write it in a mnemonic kind of a thing. If you feel like you're forgetting, you can write it KPC OF, sorry, pen is giving up. KPC OF GS. Okay, so this is the idea. KPC OFGS. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay, we'll discuss about it after this. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, nomenclatures, about nomenclatures not understand once again. Okay, see, nomenclatures are basically names. Okay, Rana, what is your name? Your name is Rana, right? My name is Shabnam. Okay, there are other people who have other names, Priya, Tina, etc., etc. We all have names. Okay, now we are some species, right? We are not like, we have a species, we are humans. Okay, now humans in scientific name, humans in scientific name are also called Homo sapiens. Okay, so that name Homo sapiens is our nomenclature. Okay, that is the name given to humans. Just nomenclature, just forget everything I said. Okay, just remember nomenclature means name. That's all you have to remember right now. You're in 7th standard, nothing doing. Just remember nomenclature is name. Whenever somebody asks what is nomenclature, naming. That's all. Okay, I hope you understood. Okay, now moving on. So as I said, the taxonomic hierarchy, there it starts with the, we'll start at the bottom. Okay, just for the sake of it, we'll start at the bottom. Okay, we'll start with species. What species are we? We are sapiens. Okay, Now, when it comes to tiger, tiger is tigris. Leo is lion. Okay, Solanum tuberosum, potato. Okay, so these are the species. Just the last name, when you write a scientific name, just the last portion is what denotes a species. Just the same kind of animals or the same kind of plants or the same kind of bacteria. Okay, that is what species are. We are not the similar species as monkeys. We are not the similar species as lions. Okay, so those same characters, how we reproduce, how we grow, how we metabolize things, everything is given by this group. Okay, species just denotes to a group of similar organisms. Okay, so distinct morphological difference, the distinct characters and everything is given by the species. Okay, now see, tigris, leo, as I said, tigris, leo, tuberosum nigrum, these are all the species. There are so many species in the world. Okay, now the next thing is genus, the one word homo. Okay, Homo sapiens, humans. Sapiens is the species, as I said, and Homo is the genus, that group. Okay, our ancestors were named Homo erectus. Okay, there was also another called Homo habilis. Okay, why? Because we evolved from Homo erectus, we evolved from Homo habilis. We now have different characteristics. There are commonality. We used to look a bit different, or we had different characteristics, or things like that. Okay, there are commonalities, but basically we are a bit different also. So that is why the first name or the genus is same, the species is different. We have evolved into, erectus has evolved into sapiens. Okay, so animals which comes under genus Panthera. Okay, suppose when it's Panthera, that is, it can be a tiger, it can be a lion, it can be a cheetah. Okay, these are all Panthera. Okay, same kind but different characteristics. Same kind of animals. Okay, the food habits, the running, everything, same kind. But they have different characteristics. They look a bit different. That's why same genus but different species. Okay. Now the next thing, family. Okay. Now this is a little less specific. Okay, less number of similarities. Okay, as you go up from species to genus to family to order, the similarities go down. Okay, as you go up, the similarities go down. Okay, when it comes to family, then again less number of characteristics, such as family Felidae. Okay, Felidae includes genera Panthera and Felis cat. Cats, as you all know, cats are a bit like tigers or cheetah, right? Or leopard. Okay, so now different family. Okay, they are in the same, different creatures, different genus and species, but same family, Felidae. Okay, as I said, less similarities, but overall it is kind of similar. They have some similar characteristics. That is when you put it into a same family. Okay, now family for humans is Hominidae. We'll discuss the whole plant after this. Okay, now order, again few number of similarities, just some commonality, some little bit of commonality, Okay, and that is why, okay, so they're all carnivores. That's why they are in the family, okay, Carnivora, Felidae and Sunnidae. Canidae is bear. Okay, polar bear, sloth bear. Okay, these are all carnivores in the order carnivores. And then there is class. Okay, again, few number of similarities, such as now when it comes to mammals. Okay, furry things. If they have furry animals, they are put in mammals. Okay. Now in plants also you can see dicot includes polynomials, etc. These are all class dicotyledonous. That can be mango. Can be mango, can be orange, can be anything. They're all dicots. Phylum. This is one of the last ones. Phylum. When you have the last one similar character. Okay, one or maybe two similar characters. Okay, suppose we all have vertebral column, we all have spinal cord. All the spinal cord animals are included in chordata, phylum chordata, because we all have, be it fish, be it amphibians, be it reptiles, be it like anything, be it mammals, everybody has a spinal cord or something similar. Okay, some kind of a bony structure at their back. That is when you put it in chordata. Okay, and finally kingdom. Okay, it can be, as Carolus Linnaeus had said, it can be kingdom Animalia, like us, humans, animals, etc. Or it can be kingdom Plantae. Okay, plants like dicots, monocots, different kind of plants, herb, shrub, trees, everything is kingdom Plantae. Okay, and now this figure I have put so that you can understand where Homo sapiens or humans stay. It starts with life, we are living. Domain, eukaryotes, because we are higher living things. We have multiple cells, so eukaryotes. Kingdom, this is where it starts. Animals, okay. Phylum, chordata, as I said, we have vertebral column or spinal cord. Class, mammals, we are furry, we have fur, okay, we have hair on us, so we are mammals. Order, primates. Now primates, in primates a lot of things come, monkeys, apes, chimpanzees, a lot of things comes for primates. Hominid, as I said, hominidae, that is the family. Genus, Homo sapiens, species is sapiens. This is for humans. Okay. Now, let me see. Okay. Now, let's get into the taxonomical aids. Now, taxonomical aids are actually to understand, to find new plants or animals. There are the use of taxonomical aids. There are plants, animals, collection of species and everything that is done with the help of taxonomical aids. They are used for herbarium, they are used with the help of botanical garden, they are used in museums, and they are zoological parks. These are some of the taxonomical aids which help in categorizing living beings. Okay, so taxonomical aids help in the categorizing of living beings. Now, herbarium is actually, maybe you would have done it when you were a little child or something. Maybe you would have collected a lot of different plants, leaves of plants, and put it. Okay, that is also done in bigger institutions as well, just to understand how is it different, how a mango leaf is different from a orange leaf, how a coconut leaf is different from a palm leaf. Okay, so those differences, just to see those differences in plants, basically, that time herbarium is used. Herbarium is basically for plants. Okay. Now, botanical gardens are also similar kind. You can find a lot of species, living specimen, lot of species of plants, especially plants. Okay. They're labeled and botanical, and they'll have a lot of big trees, old trees you can find. Okay. That kind of thing. Okay. Those places, these aids are used for plants, for different species which are endangered, which are not there, which are not found outside. That and all is securely covered in a botanical garden. Okay. Museums for maybe you have gone for when you were a child, you might have visited some different. There are lots of museums in India. Okay. You might have seen specimens like inside bottles or preserved or something like that. Okay. Those are museum is basically, it can be mostly, it is concentrated toward animals, different kind of animals, endangered or extinct, with animals such as mammoths and everything. They do not exist anymore. So those things you can find in museum. Okay. In zoological park, everybody knows zoo. In zoos you can see a lot of animals, different kind of animals, different species, different families, etc. That and all you can find in zoos. Okay. Now the last thing, which is a very important thing, and when it comes to NEET, okay, is the key. Suppose you have you are passing through somewhere, some area, okay, and you pass through it and you see a lot of a different kind of animal or a different kind of plant. Okay. You might ask, what is it? Okay, this looks different. I have never seen it before. You might take it to a scientist. That time, a scientist will take out keys, a number of questions. Keys are basically questions, etc., to find out new organisms. Okay, so to find out new organisms, at that time, key is used. Okay, so this is just an example. There are two kinds of keys basically. There are dichotomous keys and there are polyclave keys. Dichotomous keys is just for identification, and polyclave keys are used for rejection. Okay. Now this is just an example of a dichotomous key. Suppose you see, as I said, you go into a park or something and you see a vertebrate. Okay, something which has a cord, a spinal cord or a vertebrate. Okay, so it has fur, yes, then it's a mammal. Okay, it does not have fur, okay, no, then we go again. It has feather, yes, then it's a bird. It does not have feather, then external fertilization, yes, as in like it gives eggs or something, then it's a reptile. No, does it have a gill? Yes, then it's a fish or it's an amphibian. Okay, so you have to, what the scientists do, they ask questions, different questions. Okay, so you answer these questions and you can find your new organism. Okay, so any doubts anybody has? Okay, I don't think so anybody has any doubt. So we'll try to go into the question section. Okay, so we'll try to solve some 10 questions, not a lot, some questions. These are very important questions which can come for your NEET. Okay, so the first question is the number of species that are known and described, fill in the blanks, are between, now you have to fill in the blanks. Option A is 1 to 4 to 1.4 to 1.5 million, then 1.6 to 1.7, 1.7 to 1.8, 1.9 to 2. Can anybody answer? Okay, so I'll answer it. The answer is C, 1.7 to 1.8 million. Okay, that is, I've already discussed it before. The answer is 1.7 to 1.8. This is just reported. The reported figure. Okay. The next thing, growth in living beings is from A, outside, B, inside, C, both A and B, D, none of the above. So the answer for this question is B, inside. This one. Okay. How? Because as I said, animals or plants or whatever it is, they have growth from inside, cells and everything. That and all happens inside. Okay. When it's outside, okay, as I said, accumulation of rocks, etc. That and all happens in outside. And this is a non-living thing. So for living thing, it happens inside. Okay. So the next question, reproduction cannot be all-inclusive defining characteristics feature of living organisms because A, living organisms do not show growth, B, many living organisms do not reproduce, C, non-living objects are also capable of reproducing, D, all living organisms show a small period of reproductive phase in life. Okay. Let me see if there's anyone to answer. Okay, so the answer for this question is B. Because many living organisms do not reproduce. As I said, that organisms such as infertile humans, okay, infertile humans or mules or worker bees, these and all do not reproduce. So many living organisms do not reproduce is the answer. Next, the sum total of chemical reactions occurring in the body is known as A, metabolism, B, catabolism, C, anabolism, D, homeostasis. The answer is metabolism. Okay, because catabolism, as I said, is breaking down of compounds. Anabolism is synthesizing. Okay, and homeostasis is just the same, living in the same conditions. Okay, so the answer is A, metabolism. Okay, the next one, which of the following organisms can sense and respond to environmental cues? A, eukaryotes only, B, prokaryotes only, C, both A and B, D, none. So the answer to this question is, anyone? Okay, the answer to this question is both A and B. Okay, because both eukaryotes are higher ones, prokaryotes are lower organisms. Eukaryotes, like as I said, they move. If there is predators around them, they move. Prokaryotes also, when they, like prokaryotes such as bacteria and all, when they feel like they have some worse conditions to live, they become endospores. Okay, so both the organisms respond to external stimuli, and the answer is both A and B. Okay, so the next one, what are the two components of binomial nomenclature? Generic name, specific epithet, both A and B, none of the above. C. Nomenclature, as I said, will have, okay, binomial nomenclature, two names. Okay, one is genus, one is species. Second. Okay, so genus and species, both of them. So the answer is both A and B. Okay. In Mangifera indica lin, what does lin stand for? A. Latin, B. Lamarck, C. Linnaeus, D. Lower organism. So the answer to this question is Linnaeus, because the man Carolus Linnaeus, okay, he invented it. So out of respect, they put a name for him. Okay, out of respect, they put Lin. Okay. Next, which of the following terms includes all other terms? Classification, nomenclature, taxonomy, systematics. Okay. Can anyone answer? Okay, so the answer to this question is taxonomy. Okay, because classification is just classifying, okay, dividing. Nomenclature is just naming. Okay, systematics is again just classifying. And taxonomy is the sum total of everything. Name, classification, okay, then characteristics, the sum total of everything becomes taxonomy. So the answer is taxonomy. Okay, so the next thing, basic unit of taxonomic hierarchy is, anybody? Okay, so the basic unit of taxonomy hierarchy is species. Okay, as I said, kingdom, phylum, okay, class, order, family, genus, species. So the basic unit is species. Okay, this is the highest, this is in the middle, this is after that. So the answer is species. Okay. The next thing is, which taxonomic aid provides information for the identification of named species found in a particular area? Okay, what does it? There is monograph, manual, catalog, key. Anyone? Okay, so the answer to it is key. As I said, key, one of the most important taxonomical aids to find out a living organism. Okay, so the answer is key. Okay, now identify the correct sequence of taxonomic categories. I will write it all over again. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay, so species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. Which one matches? Species, order, kingdom, phylum? No, this does not go. Order, genus, phylum, species? No, doesn't work. Okay, family, species, class, genus? No. Okay, this one, see. Species, genus, order, phylum. Okay, The answer is D. Okay, you can just check out with this thing, match it, and the answer is D. Okay. Select the incorrect statement from the following. ICZN stands for International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. Okay, that is right. Okay, this one is right. Each statement in key is known as a lead. This is also right. Taxonomic keys are tools that help in identification-based characteristics. Right? Honest Mayor used System on today as the title of his publication. This is wrong because Carolus Linnaeus did it. Carolus Linnaeus wrote Systema Naturae. So the answer is D. Okay. Now, last question. Keys are based on contrasting characteristics, generally in pairs, called dimer, couplet, duplex, none of the above. The answer is couplet, because two characteristics, sometimes qualitative, sometimes quantitative. There are two characteristics, the genus and species, so it's known as couplet. Okay, so you can find all of this, okay, all the PDFs and everything, you can find it on our app. All you have to do is subscribe and you can get all of the ideas and all the classes, everything is recorded over there. All you have to do is go to our app, that is Practically. I hope you liked our class, and maybe next time we'll be discussing more about the biological living diversity and everything. We'll be discussing about it in the next classes. I'll see you guys later. Okay, bye-bye.